Okay, so this is going to be part 2 of the videos about Rav Shmuel Horowitz's life. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then go back to the first video in the series. I'll leave a link to it. In the first chapter, Rav Shmuel Horowitz, this is again an autobiography. He was going through the yichus on his father's side. So now we're up to Beis, chapter 2. And he was talking, before chapter 2, he was talking about his father, how he was growing up in Tzfat, and he was learning in Chabad and different things like that. So now in chapter 2, he goes, afterwards, my grandfather, he made a shidduch for my father or whatever. His father, again, Rabbi Shmuel Horowitz. And he married into another very miyuchistic family, basically another family with great lineage. And I guess with the guy named Rabbi Yitzchak Leberbaum, which is now Rav Shmuel Horowitz's grandfather from his mother's side, who was the son of Rabbi Yaakov Mikalish, who was a grandson of Rabbi Yaakov Melissa, the Bala Chavas Das, Zecher Tzaddik Levracha, and also a grandson of the Chacham Tzvi. And also from the same family line as the Marshal. And it is known that the Marshal came from David HaMelech. So, yeah, it's a big... he has a lot of good yichus on his mother's side as well. And it says over here... I'll just keep on looking back and forth. I'm like, what am I doing? So it says over here that Rabbi Yitzchak Leberbaum, he was the son-in-law of Rabbi Shmuel Heller, Zecher Tzaddik Levracha. So Rav Shmuel Heller, so he was the son-in-law of Rav Shmuel Heller, and Rav Shmuel Heller was also a very, very big tzaddik. I think he's going to talk about it. We're going to learn a lot about Rav Shmuel Heller throughout the sefer. He was the Rosh Av Beis Din of the Ira Kodesh Tzfat. He's the grandfather of Rav Shmuel Heller. So he goes we keep on going, off on different tangents. Who was Rav Avram Peretz. He was a student of the chassid of Lublin. He was the Baal Tekeshel. He was the guy who blew his shofar on Rosh Hashanah. And Rav Shmuel Heller nisgadel b'cheikoi shel chassid Lublin. Right, and Rav Shmuel Heller grew up, like in the, close to the chassid of Lublin. And the chassid of Lublin told his father Rabbi Yisrael. Rabbi Yisrael, that he should go with his son Rav Shmuel Heller to Artzro, and there he'll be very, very big. And Rav Shmuel Heller, Haya Megeza, from the Baal of Taisus Yontif. He was from the Taisus Yontif as well. So on all sides, father and mother, there's crazy backgrounds and crazy stories. Now Rav Shmuel Horowitz is going to start talking about the greatness of his grandfather, Rav Shmuel Heller. And I've talked about it in other videos on this channel as well. But we're going to go again and we're just going to talk about it because it's awesome. So the greatness of my grandfather, Rav Shmuel Heller, it is known to the elders of the city of Tzfat. And my father, Rabbi Shmuel Horowitz, who I guess knew him, obviously, wrote in this lashon. He said that his kindness and his goodness, there was no measure to it. He said that a person told me that he was one of the children that Rav Shmuel Heller would teach, with them in the Beis Knesses. What's it called? And all the kids would go over to him and they would say to him, Shmuel, give me a little pruta. And he always had in his little coin purse, he always had coins and he would give to each of the kids. He would go every single day to the Makoilin, Beis HaMitbachaim, which is, I guess, the butcher, or like a little, not Beis HaMitbachaim, I guess a butcher or kitchen, whatever, to be mashgiach on the kashrus. Because at first he was a sheikhet, before he was the Av Beis Din, he was a sheikhet u'poidik, he was a ritual slaughterer, and afterwards, when his hand got hurt or he got sick in his hand, in the earthquake, in the year Taf Kuf Tzaddik Zayin, I believe that would be in the year, I guess in the year of the Basayan's earthquake, the one in the year 1836, maybe, I believe. I'm not sure. I'm so bad at years, whatever. But in one of the big earthquakes in Tzfat, and his hand was the whole entire night under a big pile of stones, and therefore his hand got hurt, and he could not be a sheikh anymore. So he left being a sheikh ubaydik, but he was still and then he was appointed to be the Av Beis. But still doesn't make, and he had a lot of things going on, obviously, as the Av Beis of Tzfas, even in those times. But every single day he would go to this butcher or to the kitchens, and he would make sure that everything was good. And then when he came back from the makoilin, from these shops, whatever, he would pass by other stores, and he would go. He would pass by each of the shops, and he saw that people weren't buying, so he would buy, ezeb mit pachat. He would buy a little towel. He would buy a little head covering by each of them, and he would talk to each person and give them a lot of chizuk. And every single day he would come to his house full of things that he bought in all the stores. And then he would put it in his house, and then he would give them out to poor people. And then Rav Shmuel Horowitz tells over, I guess it's his father telling over, whatever. He says that every single day they would cook in his house a dud gadol of meat and soup, a big pot, gigantic pot, and all the people who needed to eat would come, and everybody in his house would serve them, and they would keep on just putting water in, and then when it came time for actually his family to eat, there was like very, very little left. That's how much they would give. Okay, then after the earthquake that we just said, that Rav Shmuel Heller was injured in, he thought maybe to go to the ear of Wien, which I think maybe Vienna or something like that, I'm not sure, to heal his hand. And he did a shelas chaloim. I guess you ask a question in a dream, to if you should leave Eretz Yisrael to go to Chutz La'aretz. And they answered him in the pasuk. They answered him with a verse: "Tiviemoy v'titiemoy behar nachoscha, mikdash Hashem koinenu yodecha." And on the word yodecha, hoyu menukod nekudais. Haperish was that he should stay in Eretz Yisrael, and his hands will be very, very strong and everything like that. V'chein hoya ki nisrapi legamre al yadoy. I guess, and his hands got better, but I guess he didn't return to being a shochi or whatever. But because of the shela that he asked in this dream, and he saw that he was supposed to stay in Eretz Yisrael, so he never ever wanted to leave the gvul of Eretz Yisrael. And they say about him, Rav Shmuel Heller, that he was mishtamish b'shnei minei she'elos chaloim shayim mekubalim ha'goyim, that he used two different types of dreams, or two different types of ways to ask questions in dreams that were makubal from the goyinim. K'moy Rav Hai Goyin Zecher Tzaddik Levracha v'oid echad shal yishameas hatshuva al yidei kol min hashmayim v'echad shal yimaniach b'layla niyar k'susu. So echad. So one way that he did was that he heard the tshuva al yidei kol min hashamayim, that he would hear that he asked the question, and then he would and then he would hear a voice come out of Shemaim and tell him the answer. And then the other one was that he would leave at night. He would write on a piece of paper the question. He would put it under the pillow that he was sleeping on. And then in the morning when he woke up, he would find on this piece of paper written the answer. And before he ever did a shelas chalaim, asking whatever the question in the dream, he would fast many tainis and segufim. It was not a joke. It's not just like a little thing, And he would toivel in the mikveh a lot. And one time, the pecha in the ear Akoy got sick. I don't know what a pecha is. I guess it's something to do with like Arabs or something like that. Whatever. And the doctors couldn't heal him with a refuah at all. And he heard that in Tzfat there was a chacham Shmuel, they called him, who was a roife muvak. They sent after him to come, but Rav Shmuel Heller knew that the Makam Hav Yishuv Ba'akoy is Chutz La'aretz. Ein the Gemara Gittin Dav Zayin. If you look in the Gemara Dav Zayin and Gittin, it talks about if Akko is chutzlaretz or not, whatever. So I don't know if it's considered actual chutzlaretz. Maybe some parts are. I'm not an expert, but Rav Shmuel Heller knew wherever this guy was that this was chutzlaretz, and he did not want to go out to chutzlaretz, even though he was like Ki'ilu still in Eretz Yisrael, obviously. Alkin Heshuv Lahem. He told them sheyaviu es hachoyle ba'agala that they should bring this choyle in a wagon, a certain amount of distance from Tzfat, and he would go there, and he did that, and he went there, and it all worked out. So we see that Rav Shmuel Horowitz was a big tzaddik, he was a big doctor, and everything like that. One second, sorry, I just have all these things over here. Okay, and again, now we're up to Parak 3, Parak Gimel. And then Rav Shmuel Horowitz continues, and he says, and my father again told me more stuff about that. Avi. So this is still Rav Shmuel Horowitz's father, Rabbi Shmuel Horowitz, telling over what he heard from his father, who's Rabbi Asher Yecheskel Horowitz, about Rav Shmuel Heller. Okay, Sheshama mipeh kodesh shemarenu Rav Shmuel, that he heard from the mouth of Rav Shmuel Heller. Shepam echad, at one time in the Yom Nerai, in Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, there was many sicknesses going around the city, and on Rosh Hashanah, before the Tekiyas, before they blew shofar, when Rav Shmuel Heller was going to Taiva the mikvah, some people have a custom of going to the mikvah before they blow shofar. Outside of his shul, he found that there was many non-Jews standing out there, men, women, children, everything like that. They all came to ask him for refuos and trufos and pills because they knew he was a doctor. And he obviously, Rav Shmuel Heller, was, doing avodas for Rosh Hashanah, but he didn't really have time to deal with all of them. But as he passed them all by, he blessed them that Hashem will give them a refuah shlema, like very, very quickly. And he said to this one, you should drink a cold cup of seltzer, and this one you should drink a cup of milk, and easy little things. And he left. And he didn't know what happened there. But after Rosh Hashanah, after Yom Kippur, they came and they bought him a lot of gifts, chavilos of titun, of tabak, lemekteris, tobacco for his pipe. And then he knew that all of them were healed by what he said, and also by Hashem, obviously. Again, more stories. At one time, after this big earthquake, he was one of the few people who survived. So there was someone who survived who was a Gvir Gadol, Nichbad Moed. He was a very, very rich person, he was a very honorable person. He survived the earthquake in Tzfat, and he had a daughter who was sick. And they gave her refuos, but it didn't help at all. And everybody knew that if they felt her heartbeat, that Rav Shmuel Heller would feel her heartbeat, and they would be able to know exactly what type of sickness it was. And I heard Shamati Misher Besari Rav Shmuel Nerayoyer Gisay Shel Yididenu Rav Yisrael Nerayoyer. I'm not sure. Shalom Aviv Zechron L'Bracha Sha'amru Alav Shebechachmas Hadoifek Hu HaRambam Hasheni. I guess Rav Shmuel Heller was like the Rambam, because the Rambam was a great doctor. So he's saying that Rav Shmuel Heller was like the second Rambam in regarding the wisdom of knowing how to see what's really going on with a heartbeat, and he knew more than 80 general rules in this chachma. But of course, Rav Shmuel Heller did not touch women. He did not touch them. Loi naga bechlal b'shum oifen. But the rich person and the gvir begged him, and he put on a very, very thick cloth around his hand, and then he touched, her heartbeat, and he says that this is not any sickness at all, but she was actually pregnant. And that's what it was. So that's pretty crazy. So that's what we're doing today. Perek Dal we're up to, that will be in a few days. Okay, so that's more about Rav Shmuel Heller and Rav Shmuel Horowitz's life.